The curious gnomes find religion fascinating. While gnome communities tend toward the worship of a handful of gods, individual gnomes choose their faith from any god, demigod, or philosophy that strikes their fancy and ignites their curiosity, and have been known to worship the deities of other races despite knowing they might never receive a reward for doing so. To a gnome, it is enough to explore the tenets of her chosen faith and find personal resonance and comfort from its rituals, regardless of whether the deity hears her prayers. Gnome communities most often build shrines to Kaden Kaylian, Desna, Erastil, or Shaylin. Smaller communities with a specific focus may pay homage to Bry, Nethys, Silvana, or Torag. Gnome religious leaders encourage members of the community to participate in festivals and religious rituals, but avoid heavy-handed pressure tactics. Instead, gnome religious leaders try to win converts by offering dazzling and ever-changing displays in the temples, as well as constantly shifting festivals to appeal to the gnome's craving for novelty. The single known gnome racial deity, Nivi Rambodazzle, the patron of Smurfneblin, or deep gnomes, and Belchlings. Though deep gnomes commonly worship Nivi, her faith is almost unknown on the surface.
Bry, the Whisperer in Bronze. Goddess of invention, clockwork, and time. Her domains are artifice, earth, fire, and knowledge, with subdomains including construct, metal, smoke, and thought. Her favorite weapon is the light hammer. Her alignment is neutral. Her symbol is a bronze feminine mask with a forehead rune. Her sacred animal is the termite, and her sacred colors are bronze and silver.
While she was covered in a previous video, here's a bit of information about the Whisperer in Bronze when it comes to gnomes specifically. Bry oversees invention and mechanical constructs, making her an appealing deity to gnome tinkerers. Gnomes who craft magic items also look up to Bry in hopes that her influence might help them develop new forms of existing magic items or entirely new wonders. Gnome rogues will often look to Bry when facing complex locks or cunning trap, whether they are constructing or disabling such devices. Bry understandably makes her home in the lawful neutral zone of Axis.
Kaden Kaylian, also known as the Drunken Hero, the Accidental God, the Drunken God, and the Lucky Drunk. He is the god of freedom, ale, wine, and bravery, with an alignment of chaotic good. His domains are chaos, charm, good, strength, and travel, with subdomains being Azata, exploration, ferocity, love, lust, and resolve, and revelry. His favorite weapon is the rapier. His holy symbol is a tankard. His sacred animal is the hound, and his sacred colors are silver and tan.
Kaden Kaylian was also covered in a previous video, but with specific regard to gnomes, they find Kaden Kaylian's doctrine of freedom appealing. While communities often raise shrines to the Drunken Hero, the lack of official church hierarchy means there is little, if any, organized cooperation between the gnome faithful. Cadenite gnomes consider it a holy calling to try as many different types of alcohol as possible in their lifetimes, and have mastered the art of fermenting such beverages on the road by means of portable, miniature casks that can be worn like backpacks.
Nivi Rambodazzle, also known as the Grey Polychrome. She is the Svirfneblin goddess of gems, stealth, and gambling. Her alignment is neutral, and her domains are community, earth, luck, and trickery, with subdomains being caves, deception, fate, and thievery. Her favorite weapon is a light hammer. Her symbol is a 7-pipped gem die. Her sacred animal is the mole, and her sacred colors are gray and red.
Nivi was once an ordinary mortal gnome with a penchant for gambling and games of chance. She was not addicted to winning so much as the game, Unfortunately, this attitude led her to owe a lot of money to a lot of people, which eventually forced her to flee from some of the more powerful creditors. She eventually found her way into the Darklands, where she was amazed by the wonders and incredible sights contained therein. She became the first deep gnome to stave off the effects of the bleaching by fully embracing her new life below the surface of Golarion. Though her worship is relatively uncommon on the surface world, some gnome gamblers and rogues, as well as gnome adventurers who routinely travel underground, carry a die with 7 pips on one side in homage to Nivi Rambodazzle. Travelers who have dealings with the Svirfneblin may learn of Nivi as well, for her faith remains strong in the depths of the earth. Those unfortunate gnomes who live a life devoid of novelty and excitement, and thus succumb to the bleaching, may also stray toward the teachings of the Grey Polychrome, if only in hopes of reigniting their passion for life through a deity that represents chance and fortune. Nivi usually appears as a typical deep gnome with eyes that glimmer like gems.
Silvana, the goddess whose titles include the Goddess of Illusions and the 7th Veil, though most gnomes call her the 4th Veil. She is the goddess of illusions, reflections, mystery, and veils. Her alignment is neutral. Her domains include knowledge, madness, magic, rune, and trickery, with subdomains including deception, insanity, memory, protean, thought, and wards. Her favored weapon is the bladed scarf. Her symbol are 6 veils tied end to end in a loop. Her sacred animal is the coyote, and her sacred color is gray.
As with Bry and Kaden Kaylian, Silvana has been previously covered in another video. But, regarding her and gnomes, the 7th Veil, or the 4th Veil as she is frequently known among gnomes, often counts gnome illusionists among her followers. Gnomes enjoy the play between appearance and reality that Silvana's worship encourages, and gnome bards and rogues who master mundane conjuring tricks sometimes wear a knotted scarf to honor this deity. Gnome temples to Silvana never look like temples from the outside. They appear as shops, taverns, or residences, presenting no clue of their true nature save for a scarf hanging in the window or a rune carved on a gatepost for the alert faithful to notice. Hello everyone. Well, gnomes are finished, and I find it interesting that there's only one actual gnomish deity in the gnome pantheon. But that only makes me the more curious if you have ever played a character or came in contact with one that actually venerated Nivi Rambodazzle. Let us know in the comments below. Up next are the deities that halflings mainly venerate. Should be fun. I believe they have at least one that is in theirs that is actually a halfling. Stay tuned to find out which one it is and if it actually is correct with what you think it should be. But that's it for now. So, as always, have a great day, God bless, and enjoy.
This content was made possible by travelers and viewers like you. Thank you.